Hey everyone, and welcome! Today we're putting on our detective hats. We're about to crack a huge business mystery, but forget the magnifying glass. Our number one tool is data.
You've seen it, right? A huge company just seems to magically know the perfect corner to build its next location. But is it a lucky guess? Some kind of magic? No way! It's a super calculated move, and it all starts with following a trail of clues.
The answer is hiding in plain sight, buried in a mountain of information. Things like customer habits, traffic patterns, you name it. But here's the secret. It's not just about having all this info. The real trick is knowing how to dig through it to find the golden nuggets. And that, right there, is the heart of data analytics.
Okay, so every great investigation has to start somewhere. A detective doesn't just show up at a crime scene and wander around. They start with a very specific question. Something like, where should we build our next store to make the most money? That one question becomes our mission. It guides everything we do from here on out. So what even is data analytics? Well, here's the textbook definition, but let's break it down. It's all about taking a whole bunch of raw, messy data and finding the meaningful insights, those little aha moments that let you make smart decisions. It's about turning a jumble of numbers into a clear roadmap.
And this is the detective's playbook. It's a step-by-step process that literally takes us from a fuzzy question to a concrete, solid answer. You just follow the steps, and you won't miss a single clue along the way.
All right, let's get our hands dirty. The first phase is all about gathering the evidence. You have to think like a detective at a crime scene. A data analyst has to scoop up every single relevant clue before they can even think about piecing the puzzle together. Now, our evidence or data comes in two main flavors. You've got primary data, that's the stuff we collect ourselves, like sending out surveys. Then you've got secondary data, which is evidence that's already out there, like government stats. Any good detective will tell you you need both to get the full story. Okay, get ready for this, because this number is kind of wild. A data analyst can spend up to 90% of their time just cleaning the data. I know, it doesn't sound glamorous, but it is absolutely critical. It's like dusting for fingerprints. You have to make sure every single piece of evidence is clean and reliable. And yeah, this whole cleaning thing has a fancy name: data preprocessing. It's about getting rid of errors, deleting duplicate info, fixing typos, all that tedious stuff. Because think about it, if your evidence is garbage, your conclusions are going to be garbage too. This step is the foundation for the entire case.
Okay, so all our clues are squeaky clean and neatly organized. Now, this is where the magic happens. This is where we start connecting the dots, looking for those hidden patterns that no one else can see. This is the moment the data really starts talking to us.
One of the first things a data detective looks for is something called a correlation. All that means is finding two different clues that seem to move together. You know, like when it gets hotter, do people buy more ice cream and more sunglasses? Finding a link like that is a huge lead.
Regression analysis takes that idea one step further. It's a cool technique that lets you use one clue to actually predict what another clue will do. For instance, can we use today's weather forecast to make a really good guess about tomorrow's sales? Regression helps us build models to do just that.
And then you've got outliers. These are the weird clues, the ones that just don't fit the pattern. A lazy detective might just toss them aside and call them a mistake. But a great detective knows that one weird outlier could be the key to cracking the entire case.
So you did it. You connected the dots, you found the pattern, and you think you've solved the mystery. But guess what? You're not done yet. Not even close. Your job isn't over until you can present your findings in a way that is so clear and compelling that you convince everybody in the room.
All right, take a look at this table. It's just a list of monthly sales. Can you, at a quick glance, tell me what the trend is? It's kind of hard, right? Your brain actually has to work to process all those numbers and figure out what's going on. But what if we just do this? Boom, same exact data, but now it's in a simple bar chart. Instantly, the story is crystal clear. Sales are going up. That, right there, is the power of data visualization. It turns confusing numbers into a story anyone can get in a split second.
So let's recap. We followed the framework. We defined our problem, we gathered and cleaned all the clues, we found the hidden patterns, and we told a killer visual story. So, what's left? Well, now we get to close the case.
It really all comes down to this one simple truth. The whole point of all this detective work is to make informed decisions. It's about swapping out gut feelings and guesswork for cold, hard evidence so we can act with confidence. And that brings us all the way back to our first question. That new store isn't built on a whim. It gets built on that exact spot where all the data, the traffic, the demographics, the sales patterns, all of it points in one direction and screams success. The case is officially solved.
The truth is, we are all surrounded by an ocean of data. And these tools, this whole detective mindset, it's not just for massive corporations. It's for anyone who's looking for an answer. So the real final question is for you. In this world overflowing with data, what story are